All right, welcome back, entrepreneurs. Today we have a very special guest. I'm really excited about who our guest is here today. He's an amazing entrepreneur, business owner here in the city of San Antonio. His name is Anzae Alexander, and he is the owner of Great Oasis Irrigation and Landscaping. Welcome today, Anzae. How are you doing?
Very good, very good.
Awesome.
Happy to be here. This is exciting.
Okay, well, are you ready to dive right in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm really excited about what you do because you literally transform and make these dream landscapes and living spaces, backyard living spaces for people. And it makes people very excited to want to be in their own backyard, at their home, entertain, and especially just, go into the pool or go and, really melt away from their crazy day that they've had, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's what we specialize in, is escaping into an area in your property where you could really feel comfortable.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What is the most breathtaking landscape project that you've done so far? And, how did that project come about?
Yeah, so there's a lady in Stone Oak area. It's north in San Antonio area. And she had a backyard that was in pretty bad shape. It was kind of like a mud pit, and she had some trees back there that needed to be removed. She had a pool already there, which was nice. And she had a rock wall, like the shelf was cut out in the rock wall. So that was really already there. So that was set up, and she had a beautiful fig tree that needed to be trimmed back.
Oh, nice.
So what we did was we put on the sides of the house, we put AstroTurf, we put rock, and then we built up a masonry wall to put an elevated putting green and lighting.
Nice. Okay, so let me ask you this. They no longer wanted to do mud wrestling, right?
Yeah, I think she was tired of it. She had a beautiful house, she has a beautiful house, and she wanted
that backyard to emulate that.
Yeah, she wanted to enjoy the backyard and make it a space, and most customers want to make that space very, very habitable.
Okay, here's just like a total crazy question. What's the difference between just having your backyard as you get it, you purchase your house, you have lawn back there, versus what you do for high-end customers that really want to transform and have like that great oasis in the backyard?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things with the people that purchase a house. Generally speaking, they get a stock house unless you get a custom house. The custom house usually does a little bit of better job to give you upgrades and whatnot, but usually you get a cookie cutter package. So what we do is we go in there, we design with the homeowner, and we try to make sure that they're not only comfortable with the design, but also we're encapsulating their vision that they want to, put forth in their backyard.
No, I totally get that. I mean, when someone's considering doing, a whole renovation in their backyard and creating this amazing landscape and, a pool, and some people even do their fire pits. And the one thing that I found was really awesome was one of your customers that we met. You did the gas line that connected to the outdoor fire pit, and that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, we set up the gas line. We didn't do the gas line. You have to be a plumber to do that. But we set up everything and to accommodate that. We did the design beforehand, so we knew where things were going. He didn't have any idea where he was putting the fire pit. So we did help him with the location, and we work closely with the plumber. Our masons work closely with the plumber in order to execute that fire pit area.
I love it because even meeting a couple of your other customers, they speak super highly of you, but they also talked about your collaboration. You're able to actually bring a whole project together. You're mostly a one-stop shop. You bring in the plumbers, you bring in everybody to really pull this whole project off together, and you're the person that kind of runs point also in making sure the whole fruition of this project comes to place.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of a general contractor in that respect.
Yeah.
We have our own lane. We specialize landscape irrigation. We do backflow inspections. That's where I'm licensed at. We do, the fire pits, pergolas, things that we build also. But some of the things are outside of our scope, like the job I mentioned in Stone Oak. She needed gutters. So I have a person that's highly recommended that I recommend that does gutters. So I just make sure that she was taken care of in that respect, or plumbers, like you said, or electricians. Whatever they need, they don't have to go outside. And that's the benefit of coming with us and try to, because then a lot of times a problem comes up where the irrigator is blaming the landscaper for broken pipes or the grass is messed up, but now it's only one person you have to deal with, and we're very communicative, so it just streamlines the process for our customers, and they love that process.
And the one thing that I heard all of your customers rave about was that they don't have to deal with the headache of that because it's all worked out within the project, and you really run point on that and make sure this dream comes to reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we really specialize in that, just the seamlessness of the project and keeping them happy and just staying on top of every little minor change that they want. So at the end, they end up with a beautiful project.
So these are really luxury backyard landscaping projects. So what are like 3 things that a high-end homeowner should really consider when it comes time to the development process, investing in such a project? Because, you know, this could be a pretty expensive investment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say there's 3 things. The first thing would be like their credentials. Like when a contractor comes on site, he needs to have the proper insurance, right? The basic insurance, $2 million of liability, whatever. Then he has to have something along the lines of workman's comp is important. Then he has to have the licenses, right? So I'm a licensed irrigator, a licensed backflow technician, and you get the right people on site that are licensed also, because if something goes wrong, the homeowner could end up footing the bill. Also, the second thing would be like something like reputation. So the reputation of the company. A lot of companies have an okay reputation. You want to get one with a higher end that has referrals. So you want to check for referrals, so that way the person is not just having good reviews, but you're actually able to talk to someone in order to verify that they did a good job and how the job went. Because a rating only says so much, maybe a couple of sentences, but actually being able to talk to an actual person is a much higher quality. So then the last thing is communication. We really make sure that we communicate with our customers from the very beginning of the project and get the snapshot of what we want to do until the end. If minor changes are needed, we really don't want to charge for those things, but if it's bigger changes, change orders, then we're going to have to. But yeah, we stay every step of the way. If anything comes up, any kind of challenges or issues, we make sure the customer is satisfied with the communication aspect of our service.
Awesome. I mean, I can definitely speak from experience talking with all of your clients. They have a lot of great things to say about you, and they're very impressed with you. They even to the point where they consider you like family now because of everything that you've been able to do for them and making their dreams come true. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, there's kind of a no-no. You're not supposed to get personal with your customers. I love my customers. They're great. I like to have fun and kind of joke, and because I consider them, more than just a customer. Like, you see somebody in HEB or you see somebody in public, be able to say hi and be in good terms with them. So that's important to us.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it is definitely a quite a bit of an investment when you think about everything that goes into it. But aside from the property value, obviously going up, right? I mean, that's a no-brainer. But how does that change the actual customers or the homeowners' lifestyle?
Yeah, there's a few projects that I can think about right now that we did. It's like a bathroom remodel or a kitchen remodel, or I would say even more. I would argue to say it's better than those things, because the outdoor space is, in Texas we have warmer weather. If you can somehow cool it off with fans or pergolas or anything like that, and able to enjoy the space. I mean, some of my customers, they go from these insect infested backyards, muddy, has a lot of weeds, to not even want to go out there and look.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Especially with the mosquitoes here in Texas, right?
Yeah, we have mosquito services too to get rid of those. So and that changes over until they can go to the backyard and they actually walk without their shoes on, because it's such a beautiful, comfortable area.
Wow. I mean, I can definitely see how it really transforms your lifestyle, being able to go in an open space, especially like what you said, we counter heat out here in Texas. It's very hot. And what you talked about is having those fans and just different things, even misters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I was going to add, we work closely with pool companies, and the pools are not our doing, but we work closely with pool companies. So some of the financing even could be tied in as one whole package. We do the design and everything like that also. So when the customer goes out, they go to this Oasis, it's intended because there is some kind of water feature, fountain, or a pool if that's in their budget. And just we work with a pool company very closely in order to make that oasis for the customer a reality.
Well, I feel like that's pretty much a no-brainer then, right? Especially if somebody's already getting a pool, they're going to have to get the financing. If that financing to actually build out the rest of the oasis is tied into that, it makes it a slam dunk.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of logistics that go along with that. So as far as the irrigation, a lot of pool companies, most, almost, if not all, pool companies won't do irrigation. They'll bust it up and say you got to find someone yourself.
Yep.
So it's nice to have an irrigator on hand.
Yes, absolutely. And especially with all your great connections that you have, you already have the people that you work with hand in hand and partners in all of these projects. So that's amazing also.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, now bringing these ideas to life, let's talk about that. So you guys do a 3D service to bring these dreams and show them what this can actually look like in their backyard. Walk us through that process and tell us what it's like for the customer.
Yeah, so at first we'll come in and we'll see what level they want. There's pretty much basic, boiled down to 2 levels. The first level is going to be, we come with marking paint, and we'll kind of mark it out and get the idea for the customer and see if that's what they can envision it.
Yeah.
With just the marking paint and kind of description. You know, even I even send them the video based on what we talked about too, so they can kind of, where I'll just kind of give them pictures and draw on the picture. And that's our basic like service,
Yes.
just come out in a free estimate. Other than that, we could do a full 3D scale model rendering. Like
Nice.
You'll see your house and you'll see everywhere all the plants are going, the types of plants, the fire pit, all the accessories. It's a very good program that we use in order to, really elevate our design process. So that does cost, but if the customer elects to get that service with the design, with the higher end rendering design, it just go into the cost of the job.
Okay.
So it just be subsumed into that.
Well, that's awesome. Now, when you guys do the 3D rendering, what's the client's expression when they see their backyard transform?
Yeah, it's amazing. We get amazing expressions. They actually, it's moving. It moves. The water moves.
Oh
the
my
plants
gosh.
move,
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. They love it. And I usually do the 3D rendering. We could do it with them or without them if we get a gist of it. But either way, we can still take care of them for that service. Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel that really takes off the pressure off your customers because I don't know where to put a plant, but you do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how to fill up my whole backyard, but being able to work with somebody that is very experienced such as yourself, and also being able to see it before it actually even goes down and ground is broken, I think is incredible, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of the logistics that have to go along with the planning, right? We have drainage, you have irrigation, and all these things have to go in order of operations. So some of that stuff you don't see in the rendering, but that's our expertise to educate the client on what needs to be done before the other.
So, just an off question here. I can imagine homeowners are like time, cost, what does the complexity look like? How do you take that pressure off of them into your project?
Yeah, so since we streamline it, that eliminates kind of the time to find other contractors. The cost is streamlined, so we can, if we have our company out there doing multiple things, we don't have to come back out, or you don't have to call another company back out to do that either. So that really helps out. In terms of projects, our typical project for higher end home is 2 to 3 weeks, barring unfavorable weather conditions, or a week. Sometimes it can be done in a week, just depending on the availability of materials also. But that's about the time frame that they need to be done, and that's done really quickly because
That's actually really quick.
Yeah, we get it done pretty quickly. Tree service and all that stuff just depends on how robust is the project, right?
I really want to go back to your relationship with people in regards to just having those connections. I think there's something to be said about that, because what you just said right now was the customer doesn't have to think about who they're going to use for the pool or who they're going to use for this service or that service or the plumbing, right? That's something that you already have those relationships. But the most important part about that relationship is that you're not just referring anybody out of the yellow pages or off of Yelp. You actually have a working relationship, and the quality of this person, right? So I think that's the most important thing that really stands out to me when coming with you and having all those connections that come along with you.
Yeah, there's a couple of things with that. So when we have those connections, it's true, and I'm taking responsibility for these people. It's my reputation on the line. So if one contractor, heaven forbid, doesn't do a good job, is it coming upon me to make sure it's still done right? So the big thing with our company is we have taken on, like one of our clients, he pointed out that we give a higher end service, but you don't have to go to the highest end company. So like a lot of these big companies, you're paying 20 to 30% more than you'd be paying for the same quality that you're getting from our team because our overhead's not as large.
Nice. And that's one thing that did stick out to me. What one of your customers did say is that they got other quotes, and that what stuck out about you is that you were significantly lower than what they were getting as far as quotes. But then also, again, coming back to it, you came with all the connections, so they didn't have to worry about that piece of it. So.
Yeah, and I think a lot of higher-end customers, which we tailor to, we cater to, they want to spend a lot more money because they want to feel safe, right? And get the quality. So we're providing that without, having to pay top dollar while you're getting that top dollar service.
All right. So I guess my next question is, what is the process for that transformation for a customer? So a customer comes on board, they get that 3D rendering. They're like, yes, let's do this. We should have done this like months ago. And they jump on board. You start the process. What does that communication look like for you? What does that timeline look like for you?
Yeah, so for us, we make sure that the customer is informed every step of the way. And usually it's from me, really. So I take full responsibility for the project managing portion of it. And so the customer would know like when people are arriving, when they're leaving.
Yes. I think that's important, right?
how far along are we on the project? Is there a delay because of whatever the case? So really I get a lot of compliments because we're really communicative, and that's really stand on. There's only so many core values you can really focus on, and that's one of the big ones is just making sure, good or bad, you're going to get the news. You're not going to be left in the dark, because there's a lot of horror stories of people not doing what they're supposed to do, or not communicating and kind of disappearing. So we're the opposite of that. So we're definitely
You don't disappear?
No magician here.
Okay. I love it. Oh my gosh. And again, I just can't stop raving about your customers and how excited they are about you, and all the service that you do. And I got the opportunity to see some of your work and look at some of the properties, and it's magical and transformative of what you've done for people's yards and for their lifestyles. Being able to go outside, enjoy some lemonade, enjoy some tea, and being able to look at your yard and say, gosh, this isn't something scary. Definitely not. And then the one thing too, one of your customers said, he was telling us the difference between one grass versus the other grass. And, he was like definitely a golfer that was like in his lifestyle. So you guys were able to put in a putting green for him, and it was really important for him to have a special type of grass. So
Yeah, that special grass that he wanted was zoysia. There's zoysia, Augustine, and like Bermuda, but there's also different strains of it. So what we do is we always get the highest in. So we gotta order it to get it in. So a lot of other companies may just get whatever grass, and the customer doesn't know, right? So they're not educated. They're just like, oh, I'm happy that new grass is here. And another thing is just like with the grass, since we're on that topic, the grass has to have a foundation, which is the nutrient-rich soil.
Yes.
And that goes back to when you get a new build, usually they just are trying to, unless it's custom, they're just trying to, it's a track home, and they're just trying to get more houses volume-based. So what really coming in is we correct mistakes that have been made, and sometimes the customer has to eat a little more cost because they weren't aware of these pitfalls. Yeah,
and I feel like you are definitely changing some situations that are tragic backyards, like the mudslide, and breaking walls and barriers that need to be put up. It's transformative. I mean, seriously, you're changing people's lifestyles by creating these oases in their backyard. Definitely.
Yeah, they're very happy. I think that it's super important, and some people say, oh, it costs a lot, but like I go back to the remodeling of a kitchen or a bathroom. It's a big area, we're building, construction.
There's a lot going on.
Irrigation. You're dealing with a lot, but I would say it's worthwhile, not only monetarily when you go to sell your house, but just, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to do this. The one customer, he said, I want to do this to sell my house. I'm like, well, you should, when you get into your new house, enjoy it
Yes.
and then sell it, So at least you're not just doing it for someone else,
Well, I bet after you guys did the whole yard and everything going on, the landscaping, he probably didn't want to sell.
Actually, one customer didn't want to sell after that. So I was like, why don't we just stay? I was like, yeah.
Yes, because now it's something that he wants to enjoy.
Right.
Well, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about what was your most, I would say, intricate, detailed project that you had to work on where you brought on other partners to come on and help with the project?
Well, there's a few different ones, but I'll talk about one. There's many ones that I kind of mentioned the one earlier that brought in the gutter and everyone, but I want to specifically talk about this one design. So this lady made a design in one of our projects, and then the landscape architect did. She gave me this design. It was really intricate. I mean, they had like islands of grass and what type of grass and these flowers and ground covering I've never heard of before. It was just really intricate. And then they gave us the plan, and I must admit I was a little overwhelmed. I was like, wow, what is this? Is this even practical? Some of it I didn't think was practical because you have the
Oh no!
abstract.
When you have the expert even questioning it, that was pretty extreme.
Yeah, you have the abstract, idea of what you want, and then you have the actual, concrete what could be executed. So that was the most intricate, and then he didn't know he needed drainage. We had, that's something he wasn't aware of.
Okay.
So we educated him on that. He had to get the drainage done, and some other irrigation had to be done. He kind of knew that, and we made his property very, very beautiful. But it was definitely intimidating. So what the design also for customers to be aware of is you can have an landscape architect design something, but it may not be practical.
Yeah.
And when we did it, he was happy because we did it for almost half the price. We didn't know, but he was like, I gotta quote double yours. I was like, oh, okay, I guess. But we don't charge by, we charge by the job, whatever it's going to take to complete the job, not by the area you live in or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's really the quality of
that.
materials and, what it's going to take to get the job done.
So you can expect there's no price gouging with you.
No.
There's no like, oh, let's see what kind of cars they drive and we're going to price it accordingly.
No, I've heard that before. It never made sense to me because my bottom line is my bottom line, whether I'm doing the job in Dominion or I'm doing it in, some shirts, small neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same cost. If it's square footage is square footage, material is material. So.
Hey, you know what? That's interesting that you said that because we had a conversation with a couple of our friends and they were like, okay, but when they get to our house, are they going to charge us more?
Yeah.
And we're like, no, because, again, his bottom line is his bottom line. He already has his pricing. They already know what they're doing and, they're looking to do good business here.
Right. So there's one caveat to that to be, totally transparent. The only caveat is I'm going to be doing some more doing some more business in the hill country.
Okay.
So there's a transportation cost that raises it. So that's,
But that's the only
reasonable.
difference.
That's the only difference. Yeah,
the car didn't make the difference.
No. The zip code didn't make the difference. No. It's the distance to resources makes the difference.
Okay.
So those
that
people,
makes sense.
Yeah, those people may experience a price increase because of that reason. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So to you, what would be the best project that you want to work on in the future?
That's a good one. I want to do everything. I would love to do, really, if you want to get to the apex, just build a house really from the scratch, you know, and do all that stuff from scratch, really. That would be the apex because I can start from a blank slate. But anything close to that, if somebody has a house and they want a landscaper to come in and do the whole project, that's the key to me. So I would do the fence, the pergola, the gutters, some of these I would sub out, obviously, with my partners, my referral partners, but most of it would be, putting green, putting greens, really,
That's your favorite, right?
I love putting greens. Putting greens are cool. It just transforms, and it's so fun,
Yeah.
Lighting's exciting. Lighting's really cool.
Oh, my gosh.
It transforms it.
We have some great footage of your lighting in the evening, and oh, my gosh, I felt like it was a hotel. Like, how hotels have really amazing landscaping? Mm-hmm. That's how you make the outdoors for all of your clients look. And it's incredible, breathtaking.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Those are the most fun when you can actually do, because irrigation is not flashy, right? So the ground
Wait, it's not? Oh, my gosh.
Drainage is not flashy, But the flashy stuff's the putting green and the lighting and things that the masonry work. Those are the things that are really cool, stand out.
Awesome. You know, the one thing we were considering putting in a bedding for a vegetable garden.
Oh, yeah.
And the one thing that caught my attention was the irrigation. And I'm like, oh, didn't think about that. Didn't think about that. So tell us a little bit about that. Have you done vegetable gardens, beddings, things like that?
Yeah, I don't want to get too nerdy, but yeah, there's for vegetable gardens. Yeah. You need like a different, like a drip irrigation system for those to water the plants. You can water them individually, and sometimes you have to worry about the type of plants, because if you have different type of plants in the bed, then be on different watering schedules. So you have to.
And that's important, right?
Yeah, that's important to know.
You don't want to drown a plant.
Right. That's important, because if you have two plants on the other two watering sides of the spectrum, opposite sides, then you're going to be watering one plant too much and another plant not enough, so to speak. There's ways to mitigate that, but it's better to go in knowing that this is an issue, a potential issue.
Yeah.
And then there's other types of irrigation that are on the outside of your property that are different. And you should never mix irrigation heads or type of zones. So a lot of people...
And I feel like people don't know that.
They don't, yeah, because even the inspector... I'm educating home inspectors. I work with an inspector now, and he's like, oh, man, I never knew that. Okay. So when an inspector even goes out, they're like, oh, the irrigation's working, but they don't really know that it's ill-designed and it's not going to really perform as well as it should be, because it wasn't executed.
Okay,
correctly.
so not only are you creating dreams and transforming landscaping, backyard oasis, but you're also educating and making sure people are actually being efficient with what they have currently going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the key, is the education.
Yeah.
So they can make a decision, because I've experienced when I very, very first started that people were, some of the complaints with other contractors, even with us a little bit, was that they wish they would have known this or that. And sometimes it was, us as contractors, we know what we know, so it's so easy to just, they must assume they know. Yeah, so then it causes some kind of friction sometimes. So now I really educate the customer, and it builds rapport, because they're like, this guy knows what he's talking about. So it's a way I've taken that approach now that has benefited.
Awesome. Well, okay, so here's my last question for you. As an entrepreneur starting your own business, how do you feel like this road to entrepreneurship with your landscaping business, Great Oasis Irrigation and Landscaping, how do you think that, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about your journey so far?
The journey's been, it's been great. I mean, it's been a learning experience for sure. Customer service, dealing with contractors, being able to collaborate with your team. It's good in just not the aspect of the business, just in life, business in life, not just the small scope of landscaping, but in general business. So our journey with landscaping has been, I would say, more pros than cons for sure. It's a business. It's tough. I don't have a franchise. Some people have franchises, and they kind of get their hand held a little bit that way. And that's the way to do it for many people, because they don't know. So for me, I had to learn the hard knocks,
the ins and outs.
Myself, when you're the jack of all trades, you're wearing all these hats. So, but the main thing I love about the journey has been the transformation in the smile that the customer gives, and they're like happy about their property. So I've come back and swam in their pools, or play putting and stuff like that. So it's been really cool. That's the rewarding side of it. But I don't want to sugarcoat and be like, oh, it's all easy. No, it's ups and downs. It's difficult.
It's still a business.
It's still a business, yeah. But that makes it worthwhile, of course.
Okay, so tell us a little bit. I want the audience to get a full understanding. Exactly what do you do? What do you offer?
Okay, so a list, I guess, would be
the checklist.
Yeah, the checklist. Masonry stuff includes fire pits, retaining walls. We do some concrete work.
Okay.
We do artificial turf, putting greens, obviously landscape. In terms of removing trees, we do tree service.
Okay.
Removing trees, stump grinding. We do outdoor kitchens. We do pergolas. I'm kind of jumping around here.
Yeah.
Sod, dirt work, land clearing. What else have I missed? Oh, I'm a certified backflow technician. So once a year, you're supposed to get your backflow tested.
Nice.
We do that. And that's the gist of it. Yeah, for the most part. Well, yeah, like a nursery plant. I help people pick out plants and of that sort, so they kind of guide them into what they want to achieve with their look, as well as what's efficient, drought-tolerant plants.
Yes, that can weather the heat out here.
Absolutely, yeah. Something sustainable.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the rundown of a list. We do some other intricate, stuff that I haven't mentioned, but yeah, that's the gist of it. Mm-hmm.
Even privacy walls with trees as well. So that's I saw that as well. So that's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. The privacy, the hedges, we call them, and it's really good. You can get them fully grown, mature, or you can wait for them to grow up. Either way you want to do it, but it can make especially in housing developments. If you're not on a lot of land, you can actually create that privacy in your backyard. So that oasis, so to speak.
Yeah, that great oasis. Yes. All right. Okay. So tell us a little bit about what kind of customers that are attracted to you the most.
Attracted to me? The customers that attracted me to most, I would say customers that want high quality.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the biggest one.
And great communication.
Yeah. I think they all want that no matter what, yeah. But they want high quality because not all customers want that. They're like, I just want to get by.
Yeah.
Usually those customers, we don't really jive as well because some contractors willing to cut corners. I don't want to cut corners because I see their, how should I say, their future selves being regretful of that decision. So they're like, I just want to do it this way. You cut this corner. I'm like, I really don't know how to cut corners because we just do quality. I just want to do it right.
Yikes. So, you just said, I don't know how to cut corners because we just do everything right. I love that. Yeah. Okay.
So it's tough because the customer wants to do these things. And I'm like, well, I can't. So let's just make let's do a compromise where let's just do an area, right? So I'll say, let's do an area of the backyard.
Start off small.
Yeah, do an area of the backyard. If you can't do the whole backyard, let's do half of your backyard right.
Nice.
And then when you're ready to do the other half, or just do the backyard right, and then we'll do the front yard later. Don't try to do everything wrong, and then cut corners, and then you're not happy. We're not happy because we can't.
That's actually good.
Yeah,
you're able to piece it together instead of saying like, okay, because I guess sometimes that could be a little overwhelming for people if they are not ready for the whole backyard. They can actually part size it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the key. Just sections, I would say. We attack sections and say, let's just do this section. And it's not good for us either because I don't want the neighbor to come over and say, oh, who did your backyard or who did your yard? And then they say, oh, this Great Oasis did it. It's like, oh, well, so I don't want to get in that situation where my brand is diminished and you're ill-serviced. Yeah. And you're not happy. So it's a lose-lose. I don't really care about that situation.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Anzae, is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with?
I would say that just give us a call. 210-414-1415 is our main number. Give us a call, get a free estimate. I don't think you're not going to regret it at all. We're fairly priced. We do higher end homes without the higher end price.
Yeah.
So our motto is, Great Oasis, outdoors reimagined.
Yes.
So that way you can get everything you want and none of the drawbacks. And if there is some kind of friction or whatever, we'll make sure to smooth it out and you're only going through one entity instead of trying to juggle all this stuff yourself. So time and efficiency are key for us, and communication is big. So give us a call and we'll take care of you.
I love it. And also, just really quick, you service Austin and Round Rock and all the way up to
Cedar Park,
okay.
The Round Rock area. We go all the way up there, all the way through San Antonio, even the Hill Country.
Okay.
Even the Hill Country. I think it's Wimberley over there.
Yeah.
Marble Falls, Fredericksburg. So we go pretty far. Our reach is far, but we want to really provide that service for our customers, and we're willing to do that because it's good for both of us.
It's the quality too.
It's the quality. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here today, entrepreneurs. If you are here local to San Antonio, you heard it live right here from Anzae Alexander. He is Great Oasis Irrigation and Landscaping. If you want your dreams to come to life in your backyard and have a great oasis that you can feel confident for entertaining your friends, having people over, or just going in the backyard and just letting out your day, okay? So you know who to call. We'll go ahead and put that information into the summary, okay? So you know who to get in touch with. Tell us your website really quick.
GreatOasisTX.com.
All right, you heard it here live. Thank you, everybody. See you guys next time.